Hi, my name's Glenn, and this is my first ever alcoholism video. I watched loads of YouTube stuff when I was a drunk, and I found it really helpful. And in the back of my mind, I always remember saying to myself that if I ever did manage to get myself sober, that I would do my own little video, because I got a lot of help from these videos, and I always thought that if I could do it for someone else, get a little bit of use out of one of my videos, that it'd be fantastic. So this is it. So this is my story. I'm actually 3 months sober today, which is amazing, because 4 months ago I wouldn't have thought that'd have been possible. My story starts, I'm 42 years old, and I was drinking for probably the last 25 years. I had a fantastic upbringing, brilliant childhood, none of these horror stories that you hear with some other people. I had a very normal, loving upbringing. Found alcohol, as you do, experimenting as your kids with your mates at 15, 16 maybe. Started going out with my friends, pubs, clubs at 17, 18, drinking as normal, just, you know, normal drinker. And that's how it sort of started. I wasn't excessive then, and I would consider myself a completely normal drinker. And that sort of probably went for a good 10 years, through to 25, 26 maybe. And then it got a little bit heavier, but again, no reason. Probably just started to drink every night, you know, have a couple of bottles of beer or whiskey and coke or whatever when I was home from work. Nothing obsessive, but you know, I was drinking every night. And then the next 5 years, as I say, it gets progressive, and it did. And I enjoyed it. I loved drinking, and I always knew I drank too much. That was never an issue, I understood. But again, wasn't hurting anyone. I did everything I had to do in life. I paid the bills, had this family, I did everything I needed to do. So if I had a little drink, you know, I wasn't doing anyone any harm. Or so I thought. So that takes us through, as I say, I've been drinking for 25 years, so probably the last 3 years I became really aware that I was drinking far too much, because I just drank every night. As I say, I never drank in the morning. I always held down a job, went to work as normal, functioning alcoholic we call it. That was me, I was very good at that. But I think the changing point came from me when my working hours changed, my shift pattern changed at work, and I went from an 8, 5 o'clock working hours, and I went on to a rotating shifts, 3 pattern rotating shifts, so basically 6-2, 2-10 and 10-6 in the morning. And that's when I noticed a significant slant on my drinking, because when you were doing nights, I would come home from work and I would pour myself a drink at 6:45 in the morning. Now obviously that was my night time, I'd worked through the night, and that was my reward. And obviously what that did was, but I didn't realise at the time, that kind of made it accessible in my mind that I could drink first thing in the morning, and I could justify it. So obviously, because I was so tired, I'd only have a few and I'd go to bed. You know, I'd have 3, 4 whiskies and cokes, load of cheese toast, and go to bed feeling terrible, hardly sleeping. The 2-10 shift was even better. I loved that one because I didn't have to go to bed straight away, so I could get in at 11:15 at night, and I'd have a good 2.5 for 3 hours drinking. Then I'd pass out in bed, you know, sleep it through and get up, go straight to work. And then on the 6-2 shift, it was happy days. I was on for 3 PM. I could drink all afternoon till oblivion, go to bed. And I was happy doing this, to be honest, but at this stage I was up to 22 stone. My health was starting to deteriorate with the weight I was carrying and the alcoholism. And I'd started to think about quitting and stopping and wondering, you know, if it's time, if I could do it. But never really had a go at it. So bear in mind, I've drank every night probably for the last 15, maybe 20 years. So it all kind of came to a head. As I said, this shift pattern changed, and this shift pattern changed, and I started doing some weekend work. All my hours, working hours, were out, so I was just drinking when I wasn't working, which was all hours of the day. And then enough was enough, really, because I started to drink my weekends away, and that's when this light came on in my head and saying, can't carry on like this. You're feeling like shit, you look shocking, you're not functioning as a human should. I was getting to a stage where I'd wake up on a Saturday morning with nothing to do, go downstairs and I'd pour myself a whiskey and coke and carry on drinking for the rest of that day. And I could justify that to anyone, which is just ridiculous. When you're drunk, when you're in that full alcoholic mode, you don't see anything wrong with it, really. But looking back now, it's disgusting. So I made a conscious decision on the 13th of February last year that enough was enough, and I needed to change my ways and get off the drink. As I say, my weight was 22 stone, work was suffering tremendously, it was a bad time. So I watched loads of YouTube videos and thought, right, I got all this information together, made loads of notes, did an inventory of what I was going to do, how I was going to do it, and as I say, on the 13th of February I had my last drink. And it was fantastic because I'd drunk for so long. The weeks just got better. I actually managed 8 weeks of sobriety. I felt amazing. Just things began to work again. It was amazing. My mind, my body just started to come around. Not straight away, obviously. You know, the first couple of weeks was a complete write-off with it. I had a bit of shakes, I had some shadowing, like hallucinations and stuff. Not very nice. But sort of maybe weeks 3, 4, things started to get better and better. Anyway, right through to week 8, where I felt amazing, and that's when I realised I could safely drink, because I'd quit for 8 weeks. I'd nailed it, and it was easy. You know, I know I could pick a drink back up. So I had a chat with my missus, and we kind of agreed that we'll make some rules this time. I won't drink on a school night. I'll cut the volume down, and I'll only drink in the hours that normal people drink. So I remember we'd done a hike on the Saturday, and that Saturday evening I bought half a bottle of whiskey, and I just drank this half bottle of whiskey as a normal person would. We had a takeaway, it was fantastic, I felt awesome. Went to bed, woke up Sunday morning, felt amazing, not hungover. Went for a 3-mile hike that Sunday morning. And it got to about 11 AM that Sunday morning, and the voice came back to me, and it was like, that was ace, why don't you do it again? But it wasn't saying let's do it again next Saturday or let's do it again tonight, it was saying let's do it right now. And I just thought, this is a bit worrying. So I had this like 3-4 hour battle on the Sunday with it, and it was horrendous. It was just, you know, the voice, the monkey, whatever you want to call it, you know, it was just on my back. And I give in. I walked over to Tesco's, got a bottle, and 24 hours later I was back on it, more so than ever, flying it down, couldn't get off it again. So it was 8 weeks just for nothing, that's how it felt. So I ended up drinking for, I think I drank for another three weeks, and drinking more than ever. Crazy, doesn't make no sense, but throwing it down my neck. Getting really down now. I've not really had the downside of it, the raw depression emotion. That was starting to come some. There was like a grey fog and pushing down on me, and you know, if I didn't feel, you know, I could sort of feel myself going to some dark places which I didn't like. So again, watched a lot of YouTube. Sort of, come on, part 2, you can do this. So I got all my shit together again, and I said, right, let's do it this time. And I got sober again. I put a 5-week period of sobriety in. Again, the first week or 2, it was a little bit easier the second time because I'd only gone back on the booze for 3 weeks, although it was constantly. But it was a little bit easier, and as I got through weeks 1, 2 and 3 quite quickly and 4, and it got to 5 again. And I had this thing, I knew what I'd done wrong last time, and I thought, you know what, if you know where you went wrong that time, you can do this now. And I thought, just let's try give it a go. You know, you're unhappy, I'm not drinking, I feel miserable, I feel like I'm missing out on something. You know you're an alky, but you know, let's get it back and you can turn yourself into a normal person again. So again, Saturday night, did whatever I did, bought another half a bottle, and it was exactly the same thing. First night was ace, morning I felt great, that evening I was drinking again, and when I said I wasn't gonna drink all again, I think I went back on it for about 4 weeks that time, and I felt like shit. I was throwing it down my neck. You're aware of it, but you can't stop doing it. It's the weirdest, most horrible thing ever. And then the dark places really started to come because I'd failed twice, and here I am, bottles of whiskey, hundreds of pounds a month, and I'm just throwing it down my neck. Very, very scary. Starting to understand and justifying why people commit suicide in my head. You know, these are not normal thoughts of a grown man. But at the time, you know, I'd sit up, everyone had gone to bed, and I'd sat there with my sad little drink. The thing is as well, what I've not said is I was one of the really sad drinkers because I only ever drunk at home. My days of going out and that, I just drank whiskey and coke at home when I had nothing else to do. So I was getting really down. So I think I drank for about, I think it was about 5 weeks then, and I was shocking. I was throwing it down. It got to a stage then when I was getting up on a Saturday, Sunday morning, no work, buying a litre bottle of whiskey, starting at 7 in the morning, whiskey and coke sat there. I never threw it down my neck as such, but the glass was never empty. As soon as that was finished, go pour another one, and off I went, just carried on. Litre of whiskey, then I remember, you know, I'd get up, walk over. I didn't get pissed, I wasn't hammered because my tolerance just got more and more. It was scary. I could absolutely drink and it didn't affect me as such. It just kept me at this certain level. I couldn't drink too much so I'd puke up and be sick. It just allowed me to keep doing it. So again, these really nasty dark thoughts came. So I said, right, this is it now. I can't drink. I've got to get off this. In the meantime, work had been suffering because on these relapses I'd not gotten to work. I had to be honest with work and tell them what was going on, which was a massive gamble for me. But luckily, you know, telling the truth sort of has paid off for me. Anyway, I did everything I could to get sober, and I managed another 3 weeks of it. And it was the most miserable 3 weeks of my life because from the very first day I didn't have a drink, I was desperate for one. I didn't have that on the previous 2 occasions. So I went 3 weeks of sobriety, but I felt shocking. It was horrendous, wanted to drink all the time, and I just gave in because I actually thought, fuck it, I can't do this, just might as well drink. There's no point in doing something half-heartedly. So I went back on it. It doesn't give you a peace of mind, but it takes some of the thoughts away, and it allowed me to sort of think while drinking, daft as it sounds, it allowed me to sort of plan ahead. So in the meantime, I'd gone to the doctors. I told the doctor what I was, pleading for help. They sent me to an alcohol counsellor, worker, whatever you call it. Wasn't for me, didn't help. They don't know enough about it. There's quite a true saying where there's only another alcoholic will understand you. It's quite true. But she was a lovely lady, and she tried doing drink diaries and things, and could you cut down a little bit here and that. It's just like, I'm way beyond that stage. I wanted some CBT training, but it was just the waiting list was too long. They wouldn't give me any medication because they were saying because I could stop, then I didn't warrant. The medication was for people who were kind of on death's door, which really pissed me off because apparently there was drugs out there that just take the edge off, stop me craving a little bit. Because I always felt if I could just get a little bit of period of sobriety in beyond a certain distance, I'd be okay. Anyway, it didn't work, and I'm throwing it down my neck now. And I think I did about a month and a half back on the whiskey, and everything was suffering. Couple of occasions, I went through to the kitchen late at night to the medicine cupboard and opened it and looked at the bottom of the bottle of paracetamol, and just wondered, you know, because I didn't want to kill myself. I know, and I probably wouldn't have had the balls to try it, but those thoughts were there, and that's a very scary place to be. So I was very open with my family, with my wife, and I told her what was going on. So I took another big chunk off work, and I thought I'm going to lose my job here. And let's face it, the work was the only routine I had that stopped me from being an absolute 24-hour day drinker. And if I lose my job, that would be it. And I'd lost everything. I was so lucky not to lose family and the house and my job looking back. But the thing with an alcoholic is when people say, I didn't lose this, it's a yet, because you will lose it. If you carry on drinking, you will lose everything and you will lose your life. If you're an alcoholic and you do not stop drinking, you will die of it. It's as simple as that. A lot of people are not ready for that. They don't want to process those thoughts, but it's the truth. Anyway, my missus drunk off the work, and I remember it was over a weekend ago. I was due to go back to work on the Monday, having all this time off, and I just bricked it. I went over and got a bottle from Tesco, and I drank my biggest amounts ever on a Saturday. Got up on the Sunday and I said, right, get off it. Didn't, because I had to go to work on the Monday, and I drank all that Sunday evening. Knowing, I drank for up to about 4 in the morning. I actually didn't go to bed. I rang work and I said I'm not coming in. That's how sad it was. And then on the Monday, that was it. I thought I have to get clean here. So I had a big chat with my wife in that Monday morning, and I said, look, I'm going to go down to doctors. I'm just going to sit there, and I'm going to sit there until they help me. I need to go into, I don't know, rehab, whatever. They need to sort me out, because this is going to kill me. I was thinking, did all this while I was still drinking. That's the madness of this disease, illness, bad habit, whatever you want to call it, whatever works for you, that's what to call it. But that's how ridiculous it is. So I finished it off, and the Tuesday, the 13th of February was this was my last time to not have a drink. So that was the Tuesday, that was the Monday. So this Tuesday I woke up. One quick thing, on that Monday night, there was a little eureka moment. I remember putting the drink down. I poured the last bit of the whiskey I had, and I remember supping it off, and I was desperate to go to bed. I was knackered, and I was kind of looking forward a little bit to the next day, for that fresh start again. I felt ready, and I remember just swigging it off and feeling it. I put the glass down, and I really do remember that sense of, it's over, you don't have to drink again. Now that sounds crazy, I know, but that's the emotion and the feeling I had. So I went to bed, didn't sleep well, as you don't sleep, do you? You just pass out. And I woke up on that Tuesday morning, and I just sat there. I was a state, you can imagine. And I was YouTubing all day, all alcoholism videos and what have you. And I just kept on doing it. And this is where it gets a bit weird. So I'd always stayed away from the AA. Now this is not a promotional video for any method of getting sober. You do what works for you. That's the key thing to me. I hate people who push methods. But anyway, I'd always stayed away from the AA. And I thought, I sat there and I thought, do you know what, fuck it, what have you got to lose? So I googled it, I started watching a few videos, and all this God thing was going on. But then I thought, fuck it. So I got on Google and I looked for local meetings where I live. And there was one, this was a Tuesday, there was a meeting on the Wednesday at 8 PM. So I was on a few help groups and whatever, and I messaged them saying, what do you think? And the answers were all the same, well, you've got nothing to lose, try it. So I toddled off to this meeting on my own. It felt horrendous. Went in, and it is quite a strange thing on your first event. So I went to my first AA meeting. Didn't get a lot out of it. Just met some nice people who were very welcoming, but it's good because you get to just listen to all these stories the same as yours. So I went home. The missus said, "How was it?" And I said, "Oh, it was really weird, but I'm going to go the next night," and I did. And I kept going. Now the key thing what the AA uses is try to do 90 meetings in 90 days. It's all this magic 90 number, which is basically 3 months. Takes 3 months to hopefully quit a very bad habit. So it's kind of all the same thing. It's just their bit. So what it did for me was going to the meetings. Never mind what I got out of the meetings or my input into the meetings. It broke my routine, which was fantastic, and I never realised this at the time. But instead of drinking, I was going to go to a meeting, finish work, have my tea, sit there, go to a meeting, and I just kept on doing this, and the day started to add up. And it was fantastic. So I actually broke the routine. Now we're sort of getting up to where I am today. So I kept going to the meetings, and today I'm 3 months sober, and I cannot tell you the difference. I'm a completely different man. But what I want to do with this video is if you're struggling, I want to give you some hope, because I was a terrible drunk and I thought there was not a chance I was going to get off it. I thought it was honestly going to kill me. My road to sobriety was a car crash. My advice is, don't dismiss what anyone says to you. If someone's in your face and pushing a method or a system, that's wrong. But just stay so open-minded to whatever options are out there, medical, whatever, because you've got to do whatever it takes to get sober. This always, it's day one again, it's day two, day three, I'm back to day one. Learn from it. It's so important you learn from it. if you're half-hearted, if you want to stop, but you just you're doing it half-heartedly, in my opinion, you might as well just carry on drinking until you're ready, because I don't think it does you any favours. A lot of people disagree with that, but I did it early days. You know, you think you want to stop, but you're not putting the effort in, so it's counterproductive. But when you know you want to stop and you fail, you have a blip, it's not a problem. It's knowledge, it's experience you're going to learn for later down the line, and that's what I did. I didn't realise at the time, but I got to this point where everything I'd done in the past allowed me to this one chance now to get sober and put everything into place, and that's what I did. In the meantime, as I said, I started at 22 stone. I've lost 5 stone this year now. You know, at 70 pounds, you know, I'm a different man completely. My fitness levels are sky high. The brain fog, the cloud has gone. I'm not depressed. I don't want to kill myself. Life's great. You know, you've just got to get through those shit times when the cravings are there, because they don't last. Now, I'm only 3 months into this. I'm not saying I've got it nailed or that. There's a couple of things in the AA, little one-liners they use. Now, it doesn't just have to be for the AA. You can use it. Anyone can use it. And this is the thing that got through to me. I was one of those, well, what if I'm drinking next Christmas? Or there's a birthday to go to, there's a wedding to go to. There's always something to do. But the AA thing is, one day at a time, and just know you're not going to drink today. And just start using that methodology, because it works. It's that simple. Just know you're not going to drink today. If you do that every day, you'll stay sober for the rest of your life. The other one is, it's the first drink that gets you. I never understood that, because I used to think in bottles and weekends and things. Oh, I'm going to buy enough for this and that. But just don't pick that first drink up. Don't do it. Now, no matter what you're doing, it's another AA thing, I'm sorry, but it all works if you're struggling. Instead of picking that first drink up, pick the phone up. Text somebody, because it works. For some strange reason, talking to somebody else with your problems, it helps you. Sometimes it helps them as well, but you've got to do whatever you can to get sober. And I think that brings us right up to today, where I'm actually, this is my 3 month of alcohol free, and I can't tell you how great I feel. So I think that's pretty much it. I think I've got everything off my chest. I hope my video wasn't too cheesy. But I just really want the people who are struggling to know that, I know a lot of people say, but if I can do it and get sober, you can do it. You really can. And just keep your mind open to whatever works for you, because the peace of mind I've got right now, and I've had for a couple of months, is priceless. I don't think about drinking anymore. The worst thoughts that come in my head is, I used to drink, that's it. I'm really happy with myself. Don't get me wrong, when you quit drinking, there's other stuff you have to deal with in life, because you're living life sober. But it's quite enjoyable. You get the chance to learn the new you. How cool is that? I personally wasted the last 30 years of my life, and I do not intend to waste the next 30. They're very precious. I've set a load of goals now, and I just want to get out there and get them done. So as I hope this video has helped you. If not, not to worry. Good luck in your journey, and get sober.